You're watching Chicago Bears Now. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. You can give me a follow on Twitter. It's at HGrahamNFL. More Bears news and updates over there. Let's start our show with a thought from Albert Breer. He claims that there is not going to be a quarterback competition throughout the rest of the offseason and before week one. I'll give it two smoking J's. Is it going to be a full-fledged competition? Probably not, but we're already hearing conflicting reports about how realistic of a chance Justin Fields has to unseat Andy Dalton. Now, Albert Breer says in his eyes he does not believe there will be a quarterback competition. Says Andy Dalton is the starter. He will be the week one starter. And while Justin Fields continues to impress, he is quarterback 2 entering the season. And as we sit right now, that is certainly true. I'm not disputing what Breer says, but we should include and should mention that Jeremy Fowler of ESPN did report that Fields could push Dalton during the preseason and maybe even earn the job. That seems like a long shot for week one, but at least a possibility. Here's an expanded quote from Albert Breer saying, "I think the Bears quarterback situation is very status quo, and that's not to say Justin Fields hasn't come as advertised. He has. Dalton has been good in the offseason program too. And the plan is to have Dalton take the first-team reps, and Fields will work with the 2s in training camp. And until a rookie like Fields starts getting work with the 1s, the truth is that you don't really have a quarterback competition." I think he makes a lot of good points. I also expect Justin Fields to push Andy Dalton this offseason. I don't think he'll be your week one starter. I've been consistent. I think Dalton will be the starter for the Bears to start this season. How long does that last? I'm not sure. I tend to think 6 games or less, but maybe it's longer. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, it depends on how he plays and how they feel Fields is developing as a young football player. But I do think Fields will at least get the opportunity to show that, hey, I can play and I can play at a high level. And if he obviously is the better option at quarterback, and that is, becomes even more clear during the preseason, then maybe things could change. 2 smoking Jays, I still wouldn't completely rule out Fields starting week one, but it's pretty, at this point in time, obvious that Dalton will be the starter. Who should start, though? If you're in charge, what are you doing? Type AD for Andy Dalton. Type JF for Justin Fields. Probably makes sense to start Dalton week one on the road in prime time against the LA Rams, but hey, who am I to say? AD, JF, get your votes in. And Dalton last year, obviously, started 9 games for the Cowboys, but more importantly, this is a guy that knows how to play. He started almost a decade in Cincinnati, some good, some not so good, but you don't do that by accident. He's certainly worthy of being this week one starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Now, Albert Breer did also mention in his column that Fields is expected to get a lot of reps during the preseason, not just in training camp, not just in minicamp, but during preseason, which makes sense, right? Like, sure, Dalton would get some reps as well, but preseason is the opportunity to get young players on the field, especially guys who are going to make an impact down the road, and that's not something we were able to see a year ago. How valuable would it have been for a guy like Nick Foles, who's even a veteran, to get to play in the preseason a year ago as a vet and to get some live reps in this new offense? Fields getting that this preseason will be very valuable for him, and that'll be his opportunity to show what he's made of and show what he can be within the Chicago Bears offense. Now, we are sponsored by the Newsbreak app here on today's show, and guys, I am challenging Tom Downey in the Cowboys report, or I really got challenged by him, because we're getting bodied in downloads here in June. There's just no way around it. The Cowboys report already has 17 downloads this month. We only got 6. Come on, guys. Chatsports.com/BearsNB. Go to that link on your mobile device, your iPhone, your Android, whatever it is. That'll redirect you to the App Store, and you can download the Newsbreak app, keep up with local news, sports, politics, whatever you like. I'll be honest, I don't even care if you use the app. We just got to beat the Cowboys report in downloads this month. Otherwise, Tom's just going to body me just like he did on the golf course over the week, and I already took a beating from Downey this week. Can't have it happen twice. Chatsports.com/BearsNB. That link is in the comments. It's in the description. Download the app by using our Bears link today. More on our Bears rumors roundup. Do the Bears have one of the worst offensive lines in the National Football League? I'm actually just going to give this one smoking J. It's barely true. It could be true. I actually don't think it is, though. One of the worst suggests like bottom 5 in the league, right? 28, 29, something like that in the NFL. Now, Pro Football Focus rank their offensive lines heading into this season, and they have the Bears at 27th, which would suggest pretty bad offensive line. 32 teams, you rank them 27th. That's bottom 6 in the NFL. Now, obviously, last year was a struggle for this group for most of the year. I thought they finished strong. I thought Sam Mustipher playing center was a good thing as Whitehair was able to slide back to guard. And now that you get James Daniels back as well, I think this offensive line can at least be league average potentially this year, like top 20 in the NFL. I don't think it's going to be great by any means, but I do think it will be better than what it was a year ago. Obviously, the Bears cut ties with Charles Leno Jr. and Bobby Massie, and they're going to roll with Jermaine Ifedi at right tackle and Teven Jenkins at left tackle, at least for now. I would consider signing a veteran offensive tackle, but up to this point, they have not done that. But specifically, when you look at this group, I think there's potential here. I like the interior quite a bit of Whitehair, Mustipher, and Daniels, assuming Mustipher does run away with that center job, which I think he will get that first crack at that. Like the interior. The big question will obviously be at tackle, but for a team that wants to run between the tackles, I think this group is in good shape. The interior offensive line is in a good spot. If Daniels and Whitehair can stay healthy, and if Mustipher can prove he's starting caliber for a full 17-game season, if that's the case, then really it might just come down to a guy like Teven Jenkins, which is a lot of pressure on a rookie, but as long as he's just not bad, like if he's league average at left tackle, then I think you're in great shape as he continues to develop and continues to improve as an offensive lineman and specifically a left tackle in the NFL. I think one of the worst is a little harsh. I thought the Bears did a decent job to revamp this group. Would I sign one more tackle? Probably. I probably would. But I think this can push for a league average or at least a top 20 O-line, which is why I'll ask you this question. Will the Bears have a top 20 offensive line this season? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Last 6 games or so last year, this was a top 10 or top 15 O-line or so. It played a lot better. I think if it's healthy, I think it'll be better in 2021. Y for yes, N for no. Will the Bears have a top 20 offensive line here in 2021? Oh, and let's laugh at the Packers some more. Aaron Rodgers, did he not report to minicamp? Or Smoking Jay's bear down because he's still in Hawaii or on vacation somewhere. I don't know where he is. All I know is he's not in Green Bay. He's not at minicamp for the Packers. Most NFL teams' mandatory minicamp start next week. For the Packers, that got going this week. And Aaron Rodgers, as expected, was not there, and he is not expected to attend at any point this week. His stance has reportedly not changed, according to multiple NFL reports. He still wants out of Green Bay. He wants a new start with a different team. And let's just be honest. If Aaron Rodgers gets traded, the NFC North is wide open. It is absolutely wide open. And guys, especially for you longtime Bears fans, this is glorious. This is absolutely glorious because this guy has just tormented you for 16 years or whatever it is, and before that, Brett Favre. I mean, it's just been a rough go as the Bears have not been able to have a good quarterback for years, and the Packers have had back-to-back Hall of Famers here in Favre and Rodgers. Look at what this guy has done to the Bears. Close your eyes if you don't want to start bleeding because in 25 games, he's 20-5 as a starter against Chicago, 55 touchdowns against 10 interceptions. It's just been rough. There's no way around it. And hopefully moving forward, Aaron Rodgers is not in a Packers uniform. If he goes to Denver, that's great because you don't have to worry about the Broncos very often. If you are the Chicago Bears, you may never have to face him again if he goes to Denver. So we'll see what happens, but hopefully he's not a Packer. And if it's up to him, he won't be. So we'll, next couple months, it's going to be very fascinating to see what Aaron Rodgers does. Predict it for me. Where will Rodgers play in 2020? Type P for the Packers. Type O for other. If you're feeling, ambitious, go ahead and type a different team down in the comments section. I'm going to go O. I don't think he reports for Green Bay. Now, they may not trade him. They may hang on to him, but I think he's pretty set. I don't think he will play with the Packers this year. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. By the way, that's supposed to say 2021. Sorry about the typo. Where will he play here in 2021? Quick news here. Well, maybe news. I haven't been able to confirm this, but there is a report out there that fans will be allowed to attend training camp this year at Halas Hall. Now, that was not the case a year ago due to COVID-19. Training camp dates for all teams are expected to be announced soon. It'll be sometime in July into early August, as it always is, I am sure. Again, this has not been confirmed yet. This is from a smaller source from a smaller network that I saw floating on the internet. Don't want to throw his name out there because I don't want to body him if this ends up being wrong. But sounds like Bears fans are about to be able to attend training camp here in 2021. So, hey, that's fun. That's exciting. There's a lot of buzz around this team, and you might be able to go watch Justin Fields sling it a little bit if you are living in the area and attend training camp. Speaking of which, would you go? Assuming it is allowed this year, will you go to Bears training camp? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. I'd love to go. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments.